All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the 14th annual winter workshop series. As you may recall from previous morning session, my name's Andre Thompson. I would like to let you all know that whoever has the name WW underneath their picture are people who are presenting this workshop to you. And we're here to have a good time, and I'd like to pass it on to Estelle Namibia.
Sorry, I was trying to get the video in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our second day summit. My name is Estelle Ngambi. And this afternoon, I'm honored to be introducing our speaker, presenter, Bert Gervais, AKA the Mentor Guy. He's an author, a mentor, recognized by USA Today, Entrepreneur Magazine, and Fox News as one of the top youth leaders in the country. Bert is one of the speakers on removing mental barriers to academic student success. He has been recognized by our former President Barack Obama for his work with young people. He is a tech entrepreneur who has collaborated with companies such as Google, Facebook in his mission to make tech cool. Bert has also performed songs from his upcoming rap album, yay. You Were Here the Whole Time, on stages, on the same stage as Drake, J. Cole, and John Legend. Bert is one of the best #1 Amazon sellers, author, and executive producer of the YouTube web series Pop-Up University. His travels has allowed him to speak to over 60,000 students in over 40 states. On a lighter note, he wants you to know, despite the fact that they look alike, Bert wants you to know that he is not Russell Westbrook. Please help me to welcome our speaker, our presenter for this afternoon, Mr. Bert Gervais.
All right. Can everybody hear me? Do me a favor, put an exclamation in the chat if you can hear me. Thank you for the wonderful intro. Can everybody see me?
No.
Everyone cannot see. Okay, so I'm going to pin the video. Okay, I'm in the spotlight. Okay, you guys can see me now?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Happy New Year, everybody. Listen, before we start, I want to make sure everybody is in a good just frame of mind. You know, my talk today is about You Were Here the Whole Time. And by the end of today, you know, I think there's a very interesting energy we have around the new year, right? You know, a lot of people talk about new year, new me, new energy, trying to do new things. It's always about this thing that we're chasing. But what if the thing you're chasing is already there, right? We're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you how to get there. But first, I want to make sure everybody is with me. Everybody is ready to engage and interact. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a quick little trivia questions. And I'm going to ask you guys some questions. And the fastest fingers in the chat will be eligible to win. And you know what? I'm going to pick some random winners. Jason, is it all right if I give away some prizes? Is that okay?
Sounds good, Bert. Give away prizes.
Fantastic. All right. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. You guys are going to have less than 7 seconds to answer the question in the chat. So the first question is, would you guys rather have more time or money? Please put it in the chat. Okay. So I see Briam says time. Estelle says time. Christina says time. Monet says time. Wow, everyone wants more time. Very interesting. All right. The second question. Would you rather be a famous entertainer, like an actor or a musician, or a famous athlete, like an Olympic gold winning athlete? What would you rather be? Someone said neither. Christina says famous actress. Omar said athlete. It's an athlete. Okay. Let me see. The first person who actually entered was Monet. She had the fastest fingers. So can someone just write down that Monet Olivier? If you can just write them down, I'll be giving away some Amazon gift cards. Okay. Now, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. Would you rather have 1,000 followers or 3 true friends? Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me see what you guys are putting in the chat. Okay. Crystal said 3 friends. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay. So, one last question before we kick it off. Would you rather walk around every day smelling like onion or garlic? What would you rather? Briam says garlic. Francine says garlic. Okay, Briam was the first one to answer, so we'll give her a prize. That's fantastic. All right. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna kick off into the presentation with an activity. I think that one of the big things that I want us to understand before we talk about, what do I mean by you were here the whole time, and this idea of, we're gonna talk about removing the lid, is perspective. So now that we're kind of all trained to interact and engage, I'm gonna let you guys know at different points of my presentation, I'm gonna talk a little bit, share a little bit of my story. I've spoken at Hostos for over 7 years now. But I'm also going to ask you guys to interact with me. This is going to be a very interactive presentation. So the first thing that we're going to do is just to understand everybody's perspective. I'm going to show you a picture. And what I want everyone to do is I want you to tell me what's the first thing you see when you see this picture. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. Type the first thing you see. Okay, Jason said a car, Monet said binoculars, someone said eyes, someone said eyes, someone said a spying person. Someone saw a monkey, very interesting, Umar. Ragda said someone holding the wheel of the car. Leon said spying person. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Okay, so here's what's fascinating. Everyone is looking at the same picture, right? This is not, everyone's looking at the same picture, but everyone saw something different based on your perspective. So this is a popular picture that they do. It's popular in psychology circles. So typically what happens, I'm going to kind of break down, depending on what you saw, what it means. Now, this doesn't mean that just because you have this perspective today, you're stuck with this perspective, but this is typically the response. So if you saw the binoculars first, right? Typically what that means is you're looking at the big picture. You might not be focused on the small details of how to get there, but right now your main focus is your big picture. If you saw the car first, what might be most important to you at this moment is your freedom. You might not want to be tied to a specific job or routine. You might like to have a little bit of freedom. And if you saw, did anybody see the A? Put in the chat me if you saw the A. Did anybody see the A? Francine saw the A. So If you saw the A, you're someone who typically thinks outside of the box. You see certain details that a lot of other people miss, right? So that one's a very easy thing to miss. Now, the larger point about this is we all could be looking at our lives, right? We could be looking at the same picture, but if we have a different perspective, what we see might entirely change. You know, I want to start off here because a lot of times I think that when it comes to goal setting, becoming a leader, a lot of times we try to change our outside perspective, right? Put me in the chat. Has anybody heard or seen on Instagram or TikTok somebody say new year, new me? Have y'all heard that? Right? How many people have had a conversation with someone where when they talk about what they want to be different this year, they talk about something they want to have, like, well, if I could just get this car, if I could just get this job, if I could just get in this relationship. Put yes if you've had a conversation and you've heard something like that. Somebody said, Francie said every year the same. Okay, right. So what do I mean by you were here the whole time, okay? So this is a big idea. I'm gonna introduce it, then we're gonna tell some stories and do some activities. So what I tend to notice around this time of the year, and one of the reasons why a lot of people struggle with their New Year's resolutions, and by the way, we all know that one person, right? Everybody knows that one friend who's like, oh, New Year, I'm gonna wake up 5 a.m., you know, I'm gonna go running, I'm gonna work out, I got the Apple Watch, I'm ready, let's go, baby, woo, right? And we know what happens. The first week, what happens? They're just like, they're actually on it the first week, right? They wake up. If you guys ever see the gym in the first week of a new year, it's always packed, right? And they know that's their biggest time for business because everyone is like, they're ready, they're on it, they're motivated. So they wake up early, 6 a.m., they're doing their run, but 2 weeks in, the alarm goes off. What happens? What happens to those super motivated people two weeks in? People who want to go to the gym. Someone put it in the chat or you can just get on your microphone. What happens? Briam says they stay in bed, exhausted, right? They lose the motivation and so the goal goes away. And I want us to understand why this happened because I don't want this to happen to any of you. One of the reasons why is because people try to focus on changing their outside circumstance before changing their inside circumstance, right? So I want everybody to write this down, take this note. You can't change what's on the outside until you first change what's on the inside. So this is a really big thing because this goes back to like that perspective. If you can have that one switch, then everything I'm going to share today is going to make so much more sense to you. You are already there, just remove the lid. So in 2014, right, if you could have been standing there on the Brooklyn Bridge, sunny day, a little bit cold, you would have seen something crazy. You would have seen me running, gasping out of breath, looking like I was about to collapse onto the street. What was happening? What was I doing? So in 2014, I had decided to run my first marathon. Now we're talking about, you know, this idea of like the whole new year, new me type of thing, right? That was my resolution. I said I was gonna run a marathon. And here's the thing, I had never run a marathon before. Let me, just so I understand who's in the room, put me in the chat if when you hear me say a marathon, you're like, yeah, that's something I would do. I just wanna see who's in the room. Does anybody hear that and go like, yeah, that's a cool. All right, put me in the chat if you hear that and you're like, oh, I'm on the fence, I'm not sure I would do that. Okay, Zena's on the fence. Andre's on the fence. Put me in the chat if you're like, yo, there is no way in the world I would ever do that. Christina said me, right? So Christina, listen, boom, check this out. I was just like you before I set this goal. And for you to understand why what I'm sharing to you today, you have to understand why I set that goal, what my mindset was. My mindset of setting that goal was I had believed about myself, right? I had this belief that I don't finish things that I start. I had this belief that I was really good at starting new things, getting really excited, even trying it for a little bit. And as soon as it got difficult, I would quit. Put an exclamation mark if you know anybody like that. Okay, I see somebody laughing. I see a few people laughing, right? Monet put an exclamation mark. Okay. So this was a thing I was like, yeah, I have to overcome it. So what ended up happening is wild, right? So what I started doing is I started really getting obsessed. Like, you ever get obsessed about something, right? I started buying runners magazines. I went to the Nike store. I got the new Nike sneakers. I got the, you ever see like the little tight things that they put underneath the shorts when they run? Y'all ever see that? I got those. You know, I had my little headband. You know, I was doing my little stretches, and I was ready. I was ready. I was gonna conquer the world. And 6 months into the year had passed, and I quit. I quit. I said, I'm not gonna run the marathon. I said, you know what? I quit. I'm not gonna do it. Because guess how much training I had done up until that point, 6 months into the year? A lot, a little, zero? Put it in the chat. What do you think? Estelle says, sounds like me. Zero. I had done zero training, right? I had done zero training. And so I was like, oh man. And one of the things that I learned, I actually learned this from Jason. So one of the cool things about Jason is, you know, he's not just a guy who puts on leadership workshops. He does stuff outside of the community. If anybody asks Jason, he'll actually let you know, outside of speaking at Hostos, we've actually gone to, where did we go to volunteer, Jason? Was it in Chinatown?
Yeah, Chinatown. Went to sing to the seniors.
We went to sing to the seniors, right? And I knew that some of the leaders at Hostos were doing service, and I talk about stuff like that. And for me, it's important to back up what I said. So here I was in this dilemma. I made this new year, new me. I made the goal, baby. I was gonna do it. 6 months in, after getting the gear, I paid money for the shirt and the sneakers. I just quit, right? And I had a leadership speech, you know, my background, you know, I do motivational speaking, and another thing which I'm gonna get into. I had a leadership speech, and you know, I went to them and I said, guys, I gotta be honest with you. I never asked my audience to do things I'm not willing to do. And I set a goal this year, and I've just been flopping. You know, I've just been slacking on it, and I quit on myself. I quit on myself. And I remember saying that, and I felt horrible sharing that with the audience, but I had to be honest. And I thought about something. I said, you know what? Why did I start the marathon like in the first place? And it wasn't just because I had to prove something to myself, because that wasn't enough. Because I'm gonna ask you this, and I want you guys to notice this, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you ever notice that it's easier to give up on yourself than it is to give up on someone you care about. Put a 1 in the chat if you ever noticed that. Like, if you had like your last $10 and you need to choose between spending it on you or the person you care the most about, who would you spend it on? Right? So you guys are agreeing me with that, right? So I started thinking like, man, oh man, like, why did I start this? Why is it important to me? And I remembered there was a young lady named Simone. So I was in a mentoring program called America Needs You. It's for first generation college students. Anybody here first generation student? Just put me in the chat. Just curious. You're first generation. Awesome. I see a couple first generation students. And so the nonprofit helps get scholarships for first generation students so they can go to places like Hostos, and they can go to, you know, different colleges and get jobs, right? And when you run the New York Marathon, a lot of people don't know this, you actually have to either run 10 races or you have to raise money for a cause. So my credit card was on the hook for $2,000 because I said I was gonna raise money for this nonprofit. And I just remembered like, yo, I could let myself down, but it would just kill me to let Simone down. Like, she was someone who I really admired because, you know, she was someone who had to grow up fast at a very young age. You guys know anybody like that? Like, just had to grow up fast, like, you know, single parent household. Sometimes, you know, the mom was struggling and then she had to actually work to help, like, you know, pay the rent. And so this is someone I really admired. And I was like, this person deserves a shot. Reminded me of like a Hostos student, like someone who like works really hard, has that character. And it was wild because I was like, I can't let her down. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get hyped. I'm gonna get back to it, right? I said, I'm gonna decide to make this event happen. So I had like 2.5 months left, and you're supposed to train for a marathon for about 5 months. So I started getting all the runners magazines. I started like really diving in. I started doing all my workouts. You're supposed to do short workouts during the week, long workouts on the weekends. And I started getting hyped. I even read that when you're running, because you know, a marathon is 26.2 miles, right? And you're supposed to hydrate yourself. You're supposed to take what they call salt tablets because, you know, has anyone ever been dehydrated before? Like, you know, you didn't drink water for a while and you're trying to do something strenuous, you just kind of feel out of it. So I had to take these salt tablets. But here's the thing, I was so excited, I never realized or learned how many tablets I was supposed to take. So the day of the marathon, this is the craziest thing. I get there, I'm excited, I'm stretching, you know, I'm about to run. And I start running, right? First 6 miles, I'm doing good. I got a pace. There's some other gentlemen that are running, other young ladies that are running. I'm just kind of running at a nice pace. Get to about 12 miles. And then all of a sudden, boom, I get to the 18th mile. So a lot of people, I don't know if anybody here has ever run a marathon, but one of the big things they say about a long race like that is once you get to the 18th mile, that's where most people quit. Most people give up because your body's just not designed to run that much, right? So your knees start locking up, you start getting dryness in your skin, you know, your muscles are super tight, you know, you just, it almost feels like you can't even walk. So I get to the 18th mile and I just feel like giving up, right? I feel like giving up. And I was like, you know what? I made it this far, forget it. And then I had that thought in my mind. I was like, nah, man, you know what? I had asked all of these people in my network, listen, you know, they had an app where you can track me, like how, you know, how I was running the race. And depending on how well I did, more people would donate. So now I'm like, I'm letting all these people down. I'm letting Simone down, you know, the mentee, you know, first generation student. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired right now, but I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna push through. So what I did was I felt dehydrated. So what did I take? The salt tablets. But here's where I messed up, guys. I never researched how many salt tablets you were supposed to take. And can I share something embarrassing with you guys? Is this okay? You guys all right if I get a little vulnerable? All right. This is a safe space. Jason's like, it's not that safe. We're recording. So check this out. I took like 7 salt tablets. You're supposed to only take 1 or 2. And so then I start running and I'm running. I have all this energy. And, you know, when you're running, there's like porta potties where you can go to the bathroom because you're running for so long, you got to stop to go to the bathroom. But I'm like, if I stop now, my body's hurting so much, I'm not going to start running again. So I'm like, I'm just going to push through it. So I was running so fast and I had taken so many salt tablets. And this is a true story. Don't laugh at me, y'all. I started peeing on my leg. And not only that, because I took 7 salt tablets, it felt like hot burning acid was going to my leg because I took way too many salt tablets. And I was like, I'm screaming and I'm running. But in my mind, I said, nothing is going to stop me because I've gotten this far. And it was finally time for me to remove the idea that I can't finish things that I start. The whole time, the whole race, I was struggling with, I can't finish things that I start. So not only did I, on the 18th mile, start running, even though like I was experiencing extreme pain, I ran as fast as I could, faster the last 6 miles than I had the first 18. And I finally removed that idea and I finished the race. And not only did I finish the race, I raised $5,000 for first generation college students, you know, helping, you know, my mentee get a laptop and get the different opportunities. And I proved something to myself. But here's why I tell you that story. I'm gonna relate it back to you in a second. I never thought I could do that I thought that was someone else. I thought maybe in the future, I thought it was something I had to chase. But how many times in our life do we delay joy because of the person we think we're gonna become? We don't realize that person is already here. We just have to remove the lid. I'm gonna say that again. The person you wanna be is already here. You just have to remove the lid. Now, what is the lid? The lid is this belief. I had the belief that I don't finish things that I start. And by the way, the lid usually comes from a place that is in your childhood. Because when I go to therapy, and I remember my therapist had me go through all my old report cards. And what did the teachers used to say? Really smart, starts well, doesn't finish what he starts. So I started believing that idea, right? So I'm gonna take a pause right now. And I wanna first understand, I'm gonna show you guys how to apply the story to your life, but I wanna first understand some of the things that you guys care about. So I want everyone to put in the chat, what is something that if you accomplish this year, you'd feel really good about yourself? Maybe you feel like a future version of yourself could accomplish, but like, what is this, like, what is the best version of you? If you look at the best version of you, what is something that you could accomplish this year where you would feel like you're the best version of yourself? You can get on the microphone and just put it in the chat. Monet said, getting into law school. Francine said, go back to college. Rayon said, getting my associates. Crystal said, finishing college. Rayon, why is getting your associates important to you?
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's a really good question. So for me, getting my associate would, make such a huge difference and impact in my life because I'm the first generation in my whole entire family from my mom's side and that side of the family who, the first one who came to the States and, get into college and will be finishing college. First one in history. So I'm kind of like breaking that generational, that background, that thing, that family lineage thing from the family. Like getting my associates would mean so much to me.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome. Thank you,
thank
Rayon. Did
you.
anybody else relate to that? Put me if you felt like you related to that. Thank you so much. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, Rayon. When you think about that goal, that thing you're excited about, what do you think is something that could get in the way? Just even like a belief or a thought or something that kind of happens in your head sometimes. What do you think is something that can happen that can get in the way of that?
Something that could happen that could get in the way of that. Like I'm not eligible like, many students. So losing my financial aid or like, losing that would definitely like get me really down. So I have to like really keep up in order to keep up my financial aid so that I can finish and get my associates on time. If not, then I'm screwed.
Right, right. Um, that's a big thing. Thank you for sharing that. And we're gonna go through later on in the presentation, like when it comes to those things that we feel can get in the way, how to make sure we set ourselves up so we can manage those things when they come up. Thank you. That's powerful. Estelle said, commit to exercising. That's a big one. Yeah, that's a big one. Estelle, why is that important to you?
It is important because I need to have a better health. I know I'm good, there's nothing wrong, but the body at some point you to start breaking down and can never be repaired. So if I can get to that would be one of my biggest accomplishments. Yeah, I think it's one of the I would say maybe the barriers or whatnot, or why the reason why it's a challenge to me. I know for some people it comes easy, or some people may not understand why I chose that, because where I come from, we don't do that kind of exercise. Like, oh, let me go to the gym, let me go exercise, let me go outside and walk like the way it is here. And the reason is because we do everything with our hands and whatnot. So we move a lot during, the whole throughout the day. We don't use as much machines as here in America.
Right.
So yeah, so that thing is yeah.
So culturally, you're like,
Yeah.
well, it's not done this way in my culture. And then so you take that belief. Now, let me ask you that. Well, actually, we'll build on that in a second, Estelle. Thank you for, I'm gonna actually write down these examples because we're gonna work through these. This is gonna be a working conversation, so we're gonna work through these. So Rayon said finishing college, getting associates, and Estelle said working now. So the culture, and then the other was financial aid. Let's see if we can get one more. Who else had? Briam, you said waking up early. Why is that important to you?
Yeah, I feel like if I wake up early, like I have a lot of time to do things in my day. But when I wake up late, like I miss certain deadlines or I forget, like I'm not so motivated anymore to like go to the park in the morning, do what I have to do.
Right, right. So if you wake up early, you have more time to get stuff done in your day, go to the park, do what you have to do. Now, why is more time important to you?
Well, I like to become like more diligent, like as I study more and everything in school and I work, like I see like there's not enough time in a day, like 24 hours is a little bit because we sleep like 8 hours a day. That's already like almost half of our day gone.
Right.
There's a lot of things for us to do in the house or whatever,
Absolutely. Love it. So this is what we're gonna do right now. So I'm seeing a lot of people have things that they're committed to. Crystal put finishing college. Monet put getting into law school. So we have a lot of people that you have a strong thing that you're committed to that you feel like the best version of you can accomplish. What I want to do now is kind of take a step backwards. I'm going to show you guys how to get there. But one of the things that I practice is a thing called the Best Year Ever Journal. And they say that whenever you want to attract something into your life, instead of focusing on what you don't have, start first with what you do have. So what I want to do right now is I want to get you guys in a breakout room. We're going to be there for about 5 minutes. And what I want you guys to share is I want you to share 2 great experiences that happened last year. And I'm saying this in a very sensitive way. I know it's been a very challenging past 2-3 years, right? For all of us, right? But even with that, what are 2 positive things that happens? I think that if we really look, it could have been, I could have had an amazing meal. It could have been, I read a book to my niece. What are some amazing things, 2 positive things that happen? And then what's one thing you're grateful for? So I can start. One amazing thing that happened is my nephew was born. He's 9 months old. He's like the coolest kid ever. I love holding him and spending time with him. I got to travel to a couple different places. I started a business with my business partner who actually spoke at Hostos in 2019. And we wrote a hip hop stage play where we're able to travel and do performances. So that was pretty cool. And then other, and this is not even like I had the most amazing Peruvian chicken. You guys ever had like Peruvian roast chicken? Anybody ever had that? I went to this amazing Peruvian roast chicken place in Jersey. It was like the best meal I had last year. And then the last thing that was really cool that happened was, this is really funny. Does anybody here speak Spanish? Okay, so if you don't speak Spanish, I'll translate at the end so you understand. So last year at a certain point, I was dating someone who happened to be Spanish. And I went to her mom's house and her mom's cousin was there. And I went to go say like, hi, my name is Bert. So I went to go say, hi, my name is Bert. But instead of saying my name is Bert, I said, te llamo. So anybody who speaks Spanish will understand te amo means I love you. Now, this was like an older single woman, and she didn't understand why I was saying I love you. I was trying to say me amo, my name, me amo Bert, right? So she starts laughing. My girlfriend at the time, her mom starts laughing. My girlfriend starts laughing. Like everyone knew I wasn't like being fresh. I just didn't know how to. I was trying to be impressive, and yeah, everybody started laughing for like 15 minutes. So, so that was definitely one of the coolest things that happened last year. So I share that with you guys just because I see a lot of you smiling. But if you guys see how that changed the energy, when we start building on what we're gonna achieve this year, I want you guys to get into my mindset. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're just gonna share 2 positive things and 1 thing you're grateful for. So I'm going to create. Oh, by the way, can everyone see this picture? This is, I don't know if she's on the chat. This is Destiny. I definitely was grateful for her last time I spoke because she saw me speak in 2018, came back to see me speak at Hostos in 2019. And I had mentioned to her I was an author, and she mentioned that she started taking action on writing her own book and her own poems, which was really powerful. And with some of the stuff we're going to talk about today. So this is like a Hostos student. So this is a little motivation for you. So, all right. So I'm going to get the breakout rooms going. So I'm going to pause my screen right now. So we're going to be in the great breakout rooms for about 5 minutes. All right, so in about 1 minute, everybody will be in the room. All right, how did that go?
Good.
All right,
It was
fantastic.
great.
Everyone still see me?
No.
Can you see me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, so really quickly, a lot of people are saying that went great. Let's just get 1 or 2 people sharing before we go into the activity. What kind of came up for you, just emotion-wise, just sharing positive things, sharing gratitude? What came up for you guys? I can't hear. I think someone's talking, but I can't hear you. Someone said, what makes us happy?
Yes, that's me, Crystal. I said Crystal Sutton. I know there's another Crystal on here. Yes, little things that make us happy that, you know, they may have a lot of work. Like someone mentioned they got a new puppy. It may be a lot of work, but in the end, it makes them happy. I went to Magnolia Bakery. That made me happy. Little things that we do in our life that make us happy.
Love it. Awesome. Magnolia Bakery sounds amazing. Is that in Brooklyn?
No, there happens to be one. I'm in Manhattan, so there's one in Manhattan.
Fantastic. Okay. Can I get someone else to share?
Can I go next?
Yeah, please do.
Sure. So I was able to get my driver's license, and I was able to get my own car, and also I used my card because before, like, when I didn't have a car, it was so hard because we used to like use the shopping cart to go, to the supermarket, and it was so hard and so difficult. But now I have my car. I now can bring my family to church on Sundays, and I can use my car for shopping and laundry. It's so great. Like, without my car, I don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah, and I'm
Awesome. I
grateful.
mean, I have a question for you. When I showed the picture earlier, did you see the car first?
The second, yeah. No, not first, but the second. Yeah, the car.
Yeah, I mean, but you probably have that sense of freedom, right? Congratulations on getting your license. It's very exciting.
Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So I love how Maria said spending time with her family. Love it. Renee said spend time with my best friend and he fixed my washing machine. So all of you guys, you know, we're able to find these moments, these positive moments, right? And I think it's important to be able to build on that energy. But first, we got to figure out what happens when we bump into a wall. Like we have that positive energy, but something helps us bump into the wall, right? So I'm going to share with you what I do. I'm going to go back to removing the lid. So let me share my screen. So understanding self-worth is the beginning of progress. Take a picture, write it down. This is a big one. This is a big one, right? Because it makes so much sense why very capable people would self-sabotage things if they feel like they don't deserve it. Does anyone know someone who is skilled, talented, really capable in one area of their life, but then in another area, they're just struggling? Like maybe they're really good at school and finances, but they struggle with relationships. Or maybe they're really good at being organized, but when it comes to budgeting, it's a struggle, right? Or maybe, does anybody know someone who's very talented at something, but they never pursue opportunities in that talent? Like, for example, maybe they're a gifted poet or writer, but they never take any action. Does anybody know like anyone like that? So that's a big thing, right? So understanding self-worth is the beginning of progress, because of course, you know, of course, if I feel like I don't deserve it, I'm going to get in my own way. And I'm not talking from here. I'm talking from a perspective of like, I've been there, you know, and this is a thing that I hit a wall so many times in my life because I simply didn't feel like I deserved it. So I'll give you an example. When I was in college, my freshman year, I went to Syracuse University, and I ended up failing out of that school. I lost my football scholarship, and so I had to transfer to Binghamton. And I transferred, and when I transferred, I was supposed to go to my guidance counselor and give them my transcript so they can take the credits over, so to make sure I got all the credits I was supposed to get. I missed that appointment, and I felt so embarrassed and so silly, and I was so afraid of not looking, you know, like a mess. That, do you guys think that I actually went and spoke to my counselor? You think I went or no? No, right? I was so ashamed. And so because of that, I let years go by, and it actually took me an extra 1.5, almost 2 years to graduate, just because I didn't sit down and have a conversation with my counselor. And part of it was, I just didn't feel like I deserved better. I didn't feel like I deserved better. So I want you guys to know that the leader you want to be is here the whole time. The mother or father you want to be is here the whole time. The successful professional artist you want to be is here the whole time. Once we start to begin to understand that self-worth is the beginning of progress. So one of the things that I did, this is a picture I did 2 years ago. That's both me. I don't have a twin brother. After speaking to my therapist, we did a thing called a self-love challenge, where I had to write 5 things that I liked about myself every day for 30 days. And I made a short video. Maybe one day I'll release it, but I put them on Instagram. If anybody really wants to see some of those videos, they're kind of hilarious. Just message me and I'll send them to you. But I literally had to find something to like about myself for 30 days. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, believe it or not. You know, has anyone ever found that it's easier to find things that you don't like about yourself than it is to find things you do like about yourself? Has anybody ever found that? Because we live in this like society that's so easy to criticize, right? And so self-worth is the beginning of the progress, because if we're going to remove the lid, we're going to remove the things that hold us back. We have to understand where our value and our worth comes from. So what I want to challenge you guys to do now is, I want you to just, I don't want you to think about this. I want you to take a speed 3 minutes, and I want you to share in a group 3 things that either you're good at or you like about yourself. Now, don't worry if it doesn't come right away, and don't worry about trying to impress other people. Don't try to make it like super big, or like, it could be something as simple as like, yo, I'm so dope at folding paper and making origami animals. You know, like, it can be something super simple. Like, what I like about myself is I'm a good listener. I'm a good uncle to my niece. I'm always like reading to her and getting her books. I also like that I push and challenge my friends to be better. So I share it. So I'm gonna give you guys a speed 3 minutes, and I want you guys to just come back with some things that you like about yourself. So I'm gonna put us back in rooms, but this is gonna be very quick. Hello? Can you guys
Yes,
hear?
hello.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So now we're getting to the juicy part where we're gonna make some real breakthrough and some real progress. So just super quick, can someone throw in the chat? I still got some prizes to give away for people who are active. Someone throw in the chat, you know, what was something that you liked about yourself or something you're good at? Someone just throw it in the chat. I want to see what we're working with here. What are we working with? Monet said tenacity. Love it. Francine said myself. Estelle said loyal. Andre said artistic. Andre, what type of art? Ashanti said,
I draw people. I draw like kind of like a manga style, I guess, sometimes. And I like designing stuff, really.
love it, man. I might need some album art, so I might reach out to you. Crystal said problem solving. Crystal, what kind of problem solving?
Well, I think it comes to me kind of naturally, seeing that I'm like a parent and all. I just love the challenge, just to, you know, work through and find solutions for almost anything. I like challenging myself.
Got it. How did it feel to kind of be present with what you're good at and to share that? How did that feel?
It was cool. What I shared with them was the problem solving, the creative side of me, where I create a lot of stuff with my kids, drawing, art, and then I mentored for a period in 2 semesters in college. So I learned more of myself doing it while I thought I was, you know, being a good civic servant and whatnot. I learned so much about myself mentoring while helping others. It was exhilarating. It was crazy.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Arnold said actor, creator. Christina said resilience. Christina, how did it feel to really sit there and really take in the fact that resilience is one of your strengths? I'll give you a second. While we're waiting, I want to share that in one of the breakout rooms, someone had like an ADHD workbook, and I really respected that. So actually, as an adult, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and you know, learning to navigate that and to be effective. Oh, there we go.
Hey,
yeah,
guys, see my screen? I'm not showing my screen. Actually, I want to show it to you earlier.
Yeah.
So like it's basically day to day. Just to see.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give Arnold a big compliment. So one of the things I know about ADHD is you have to put systems in your life to be effective and successful. And the fact that you have that workbook and you're taking those steps, that says a lot about you not being defined by your situation, but you know, like embracing it and navigating it and finding a way to be effective. And that's something that I've been taught by my therapist. So I just want to thank you for normalizing that and sharing that. I think that's awesome. Thank you so much, man. So.
Actually, Bert, actually, the way you speak, you remind me of my professor because I got incomplete last semester, and this semester his name is Jomo Seligson. He has off disability ASD. He has dyslexia, so me and combined disability. So it's like me and him like face this different situation.
Yeah.
You remind me of my professor. You remind me of my professor for some reason. Yeah.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's powerful, man. So
yeah, it is life-changing, especially.
Yes, 100%. So what I want to talk about now is, by the way, Andre, how did you feel when you shared, like, you know, your how good you were at art? How did that feel?
Well, I feel it felt, you know, I don't know, I felt like, kind of like proud of myself. And I actually made a flyer variant for the workshops this year, so that was pretty cool.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm glad that you're sharing that. That's awesome. And so what you guys, I hope, realize right now is by focusing on positive things that happens, by focusing on the things you're already good at, right? That all of the ingredients you need to be the best version of yourself is already there. So the question becomes, what holds us back? And this is the meat and potatoes of my presentation. I'm going to share, I'm going to work on this. I'm going to do this part myself, and then we're all going to do this activity and we're going to share. So I'm going to first share something with y'all, and then I have a confession. Is that all right if I'm a little bit vulnerable with you guys? You guys okay with that? We're cool. We have that relationship now. All right. So I'm just going to share my screen. So we've already established that we have goals. You know, I think Rayon wants to get associates. We've established that we've had some positive experiences. We have some skills. What holds us back from jumping to that next level, that being that best version of us? And I believe it's like the metaphor of the grasshopper in the box. The grasshopper jumps 10 times its height. You know, if you were a human, you jump 10 times your height, you jump like, 70 feet in the air, right? So, what happens when we put our potential in a box, when we put our potential in a box? I call this the lid. And I'm going to show you guys how to remove the lid. And I'm going to first share what happened with me. So I'll be honest with y'all. In 2012, I recorded about 12 hip hop songs. And I got really excited. I see you, Crystal, you said I could relate to procrastination. I got really excited. I got all my friends excited, recorded all this music. And I want you to understand, guess how many songs I actually put out to the universe in 2012 with your fingers, someone, or put it in the chat. 0. Anybody else? Any other guesses? Brian said 4, Zenai said 1, Chisholm said 0, Arnold said 5. Nada, 0. Hollowed out Oreo. And the reason that happened is because of this next thing that I want you to take a note on. Hold on. Where did it go? I might have lost this. Oh yeah. Understand that perfection is a disguise for insecurity. Perfection is a disguise for insecurity. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. This is an area where I was struggling. 2019, I spoke at Hostos. I was still struggling. I actually found a video of that, and I'm going to share with you what I said about this in 2019, and I'm going to give you guys an update. So I need you to let me know if you guys can see and hear the sound. So this is what I said in 2019.
Answers. It's music. So what are you doing instead? I've been watching.
So write this in your notes. Perfection is a disguise for insecurity. And I'm very imperfect because I wrote the quote. But I'm gonna forgive myself. One of the reasons I didn't put music out is because I didn't feel like it was perfect. I just needed a little bit, a better producer. The beat needed to be better. This vocal could have been a little bit better, right? It took me 3 years to write my first book. So if that audio was low, I said one of the reasons why I didn't put out the music is because I always felt like it could have been better, more perfect. The vocal, the beat. What I was really saying to you guys was, I was afraid of exposing my art and having people tell me it's not good enough. I was really afraid of not feeling enough. And my lid, I keep telling you, the lid is the thing that you bump into when you try to get to the next version of you. My lid was, I was deeply terrified of feeling inadequate. So I designed my life in such a way that I wouldn't put myself in a situation where I would feel inadequate, right? So it's kind of like, does anybody know someone who has wanted a goal, but they bumped their head so long that they just kind of gave up on it? Like, you know, someone that's just like, man, I try to get good grades and I did it bad in a couple of classes, whatever, I'm just gonna accept it. Or man, I try to get into a relationship. I had 1 or 2 bad experiences, so whatever, I'm just gonna focus on me. Y'all, you guys have heard of that, right? So it's this idea that happens that gets us stuck. And so this was me 3 years ago talking about, and I'm gonna let you know what the update is on this, because I gotta update y'all because y'all rocking with me. And I have to be transparent with you guys, but this was me acknowledging my fear of releasing my music because I didn't want to be judged. So what does that look like, right? So what that looks like is this. I'm gonna walk you through exactly what I was thinking. I'm gonna share my screen. You guys gonna let me know if you can see it. Okay. Pardon the delay. All right. So this was my lid. It's a combination of how I felt about the past and what I was secretly committed to. Once you guys break this, and I'm gonna put this document for you guys to work on in a second. Once you guys can understand how this works, you will actually be able to overcome this in your life. So this was my lid. The way I felt about the past was that it's been too demanding. And I had this belief that life is too demanding. So when it came to things to like doing taxes or submitting my music myself to iTunes, it just felt too complicated. So I designed my life where if ever I felt something was too complicated, I could run away from it. I felt about myself that I wasn't too capable. And most importantly, my lid was, if you saw the real me. So Andre, I thought if you saw the real me, you would say, yo, he's not enough, he's inadequate. And what I was secretly committed to, I was secretly committed to avoiding disappointing my parents, avoiding feeling inadequate, avoiding anxiety. And this is a real thing. I don't know if anybody here, was born in another country. You know, I'm an immigrant. I have Haitian parents, and I was so big on not wanting to disappoint them. And I was like, they'll never take me seriously if I'm doing music and doing all this type of stuff. So I kept getting myself into careers that were not related to my passion because I wanted to please somebody else. Because you guys see how I was controlled by this lid of not wanting to feel inadequate, not wanting to disappoint my parents. You guys see how that controlled all my actions. So when it came to whether I felt deserving, whether it came to using perfection as an excuse, this is what I got stuck into. So fast forward 3 years to today, one of the things I can let you know is I decided, just like with the marathon, I had to address this. And I know Jason's been following me on Facebook and following my journey. I had to experience a version of myself that's always been here. And that's the version that's not afraid of inadequacy or disapproving my parents and doing things for myself. So I can let you guys know that I have officially put my music out into the world. So, I'll send you a link later if you want to stream it on Spotify, Apple, or whatever. These are my songs. I put my music out. It can be judged, it can be critiqued, but I finally took that step, and it's because I decided to remove my lid. Now, what we're gonna do right now is, thank you, Jason, I appreciate that. Jason's been hearing me talk about my passion for years, and so to actually finally take that step is a big thing, and I think Jason's a big part of that journey. So what we're gonna do right now is we're actually gonna work on these questions. Mostly just focus on, what is your lid? How do you feel about the past? Like, what is that belief that you kind of learned growing up that you feel holds you back in a way? So for example, when we did this talk 3 years ago, this one young lady was like, she had this belief that other people hold her back. Does anyone know someone like that? That it's like someone's always holding them back and they point the finger at everybody else except themselves. Anybody know somebody like that? But that was her belief. I'm not even judging it. It's not about right or wrong. But because of that, when it came time to take a risk, do you think she bet on herself? Do you think she believed in herself? And if something failed, do you think she looked at how she could do it better, or do you think that she looked for what other people could do better? And I'm giving you that real life. Thank you, Crystal shared the young version of me was her, right? And I hope that hits home because I'm giving you this real life thing, because once you see how deep this goes, you see how this literally predicts your behavior. Like once you understand what your lit is, you'll understand the ideas that predict the areas. And remember, it's not about what's your new goal this year. It's not about what you want to accomplish. It's who do you need to be on the inside? What systems do you need to create around you? And what lid do you need to remove? So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to put this document in the Zoom, and we're all going to work on it for a few minutes. And I'm going to put both my example, and I'm also going to put the blank example. I want you to work on this one. How do I feel about the past? What's that idea I heard growing up that holds me back today? How do I feel about myself? And what is my lid? And once you understand that, you'll understand kind of what you're secretly committed to. This one might take a little bit of conversation back and forth, but definitely focus on the left 3 questions. Does everybody understand what we're going to be doing? Okay, cool. So I'm going to put this in the chat. I'm going to put this in the chat. So I just need you guys to just confirm that you can see it. I'm gonna add the. And if anyone has to go soon, I heard a few people message me that they have work at. I'm gonna put my my contact. So download that document in the chat. If anyone has to go soon while you're working on that, I'll let you guys if you scan this, you'll be able to get my contact information for anyone who has to go soon. So what we're gonna do right now is it's 2:20. I'm gonna put us into rooms. I'm gonna give us about 15 minutes to work on this because I really want us to be able to leave here with the action plan. So and if you get done with your worksheet early, there's a second one to fill out. So I put the 2 documents in the chat. So I'm gonna put us in breakout rooms, and I'm gonna walk around the different rooms to answer questions. And we are going to be in there for about 15 minutes. Does everyone understand? Put a 1 if you understand what we're doing. Okay, perfect. All right, I'm opening the rooms.
Question. You haven't posted the documents in the chat, right?
I haven't. Yeah, I did post them. Did you not get it?
No, I didn't see anything in the chat.
Okay. Who's that speaking?
This is Crystal.
Okay, I will put them back in. And I'll be going to the rooms just to make sure everyone has it. I just put it back in there.
You sure you sent it to everyone, or it was sent to like one person? Because I'm still not seeing it.
All right, I'm gonna send it to you specifically.
You should be able to click on it. It's a PDF, I think, right?
Yeah.
Bert, I just wanted to mention that I reached out to Bert. Can you hear me? Bert, can you hear me?
All right, guys. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. So, I would love to see what you guys worked on. I know that some of you were saying that you couldn't download it in the chat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to a Google Drive that you guys should be able to click on and download. So that's just a learning for next time. Sometimes it's easier with the Google Drive. So I want to spend this time. I shared my lid, the things that got in my way. Before I do that, I want to shout out Destiny. Remember the young lady I showed in my presentation earlier? She's here. She's doing her thing. She goes to Queens College now. Destiny, you want to say hi real quick?
Hi, everyone.
Destiny, you first saw me speak with 2018?
Yes.
And then you came back in 2019. I appreciated that.
No problem.
Awesome, awesome. So I know you're doing big things. So I'm very happy to see you doing your thing.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yes, yes, yes. Have to give you a shout out.
Thank
So
you.
I want to spend this time with the folks who worked on the document. I think we got a couple more prizes to give out, but I would just love if one or two people just hopped on the camera and just kind of answered, the questions about the things they believe, the lid, the stuff that's holding them back in the past. We have time for a few people, and then I might leave y'all with a little performance, a little something before you leave. But let me see who wants to just kind of share. What did you guys? Who discovered like an aha moment working through the worksheet?
Hey, Bert, can I go first?
Yeah, of course, Arnold.
Sure, because I can relate to Destiny because I go to Queens College and I graduate and I'm done with classes. So yeah, I'm a upper senior finally, got my credits, and I'm going to grad school next after graduation. So let me share mine. Thank you, I appreciate it. That's why no more classes, I have more time. Momentum, hyperactivity, I go long runs, and then I can be disruptive to my mom, motivated to have thinking skills. And so right now, I'm working on a research paper with this COVID-19 project right now. And I'm working on my acting project right now. So I have 2 books going on this semester. And then I love group work. So can you repeat what lit means?
So the lid is the thing that it's like that belief that just gets in your way, to get to the next level of you. Like if you were trying to jump to the next level, it's a thing that gets in the way.
Gotcha.
You mentioned, that there's some areas where you can be disruptive, but are there any beliefs that you feel like hold you back when you really think about it?
Got it. Okay, thank you. So let me cut you on group work, life of cultivation, ability, group counseling. I love being accountable since this pandemic has been too long. I like being group. I'm just going off my notes because I'm an actor. I'm an actor. I have limited beliefs. So I just love being accountable because Pines too long hate individual work. So that negativity last semester, I'm gonna share this link to the chat after I'm done speaking. I took Me side 21, same with Andre, is where I had to do a stop motion graphic novel and about my grandmother and had to sketch it all by myself because I'm not used to like individual work society. So
Got it. So let's pause there for
I
a
love
second.
being creative.
That's you said something interesting. So
Yeah, and then I love being adventurous and then sometimes I leave my mom in the house. Sometimes if we get too distracted, since this is more important key because I distract her and be hyper, I just leave the house and go and run and be adventure in film shoots. Yes, go ahead.
So you said you succeed well in group stuff, which is great. Do you feel like there's something about as in individual work? Do you feel like you struggle to hold yourself accountable? Is that like a belief you have about yourself?
I not really. I have the ability to, but like with the time is going now, with a call, I'm doing my business work. I can work. I'm an Amazonian, so to answer your question, group work accountable makes me do things faster actually. Because if I'm by myself in my room, I was like, man, how come it's taking forever?
So yeah, so I think it's
because I want to share point D as well, which relates. I'm on a spectrum actually.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So
So I definitely get that. The group work definitely helps you, and maybe there's some things that effectively are helpful, but maybe there's some things you maybe believe about yourself as an individual. There might be some. You might actually have more opportunity there as an individual than you might believe, because obviously, if you can get group work and accountability, that's great. But for the times that you can't, maybe there's opportunities that you can count on yourself as well. So thank you so much for sharing. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Let's get someone else. Who else was kind of wrote down kind of their lid and what they were, and that belief. Do you think that would, if you just remove that belief, you would just skyrocket? Who else was able to? Let's get someone else sharing. Andre, you got something?
Sure. All right. So for the first question, how do I feel about the past? I wrote that I won't let anything that revolved around my past be a part. I let it be a part of my progression in the future. Anything that revolved around my past, yeah. And how do I feel about myself? I feel accomplished despite not but also knowing that I could always do better. Yeah. And what is my lid? I put my lid is my self-esteem not being high enough. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's powerful, man. That's a very vulnerable share. Jason, if you could write down Andre for a prize winner as well, I want to make sure I give him something. Did anybody relate to any of that? Just put me in the chat if any of that hit home. If anybody related to what Andre shared. I definitely related. Just put me in the chat. You said something really powerful. You said that, what you believe about your past is you let your past determine your future. I'm gonna tell you something that my mentor told me is a quote. Write this down. He said something, I never forgot it. He said, my past doesn't determine my future because of my ability to make choices in the present. I'm gonna say it again. My past doesn't determine my future because of my ability to make choices in the present. How many people know somebody who feels like they're a prisoner of the past, who feels like they keep running through the same loop over and over? Anybody know someone like that? And a lot of times we feel like we're defined by maybe past mistakes, things that people did to us, past traumas. But what we don't realize is that doesn't have to be the end of the story. We can't go back and change the beginning, but we can make a choice in the present to chase the ending. So I love that. I love that you were able to look at that. Now, let me ask you this. This is a real important question. What do you think would be possible for you if you're able to remove that? If you were able to just exist outside of feeling like your past had a hold on you, what would be possible for you? Like, how would you feel? How would you move in the world?
Me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would, if I would, wait, can you repeat that?
Like, so for example, that whole thing about like, my lid about my self-esteem and how I feel about my past. If that wasn't in the way, what do you think would be possible for you?
I feel I would probably be more, I feel I would be more like, better at doing things and being more of a stand-up person and whatnot.
You feel more productive, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: where else does that show up for you? The whole like, man, if I just had the self-esteem, where else does that show up? Is it in school? Is it like in friendships? Does it show up? Like, where else does that show up?
It can show up in many different things. I'd say even in your speech, like I would say I should probably be more energetic in my speech, get people to really like connect with them and whatnot. So I feel that's one thing.
Got you. So you're saying like just how you present yourself. I'm gonna say this, Andre, and I really want you to take this in. This is like a big thing. You are enough, right? You are enough as you are right now. There's no magic remedy that you need to add, no special sauce. You 100% are enough. Like everything that you need to be the person you want to be is inside you. There's no need to impress other people, to put on, or to speak a certain way. You are enough. And if anyone hasn't told you that today, I just wanted to make sure I share that with you. And I wanted to just, if everybody could just give you a round of applause. That was a very vulnerable share. So thank you so much, man. So I'm sure a lot of people,
Thanks,
the
Bert.
exclamation mark if you felt like you got something out of that share, because I definitely got something out of that share because it felt real and it felt authentic. All right. Maybe we have time for one more, and then I'm gonna let you guys know how to get in contact with me.
Well, I guess I could share.
Sure.
So hold on, let me or assistance with it. Can you see me? No. Okay, there we go. Okay, so my how I feel about my past. I feel like as I look back at it, I feel like I've made a lot of bad decisions, and as a result of that, how I feel about myself is I feel like not only am I self-destructive, but it's like everything I touch, I seem to leave a negative impression on, or maybe I don't see it sometimes. I just feel like I'm just destructive all around sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, most of what I do or do in life, how I impact people or the things I say, they end up going in another direction or something. And my lid goal, I guess, to remove the lid was, how to describe it, to actually stop and consider other people and where they're at or how they feel, to actually consider, be more considerate of other people and stuff, and and the place that they are in my life, because I feel like somewhere along the line, for all the things that happened, I had potential possibilities to work around and network and do these things, and I dropped the ball. I really dropped the ball. And I felt like if I were to just finally, focus on making more of an impact, that I would ultimately benefit from it. Because, at the end of the day, what I want to do is I want to be a counselor or a teacher. And I don't want to be responsible for, messing up some kid's life or not, not meeting them at their level and, helping them with their growth and development. So
Right. So
that's my level.
I want to first say thank you. Am I saying the right, Chancellor? Am I saying it right?
Yes.
I want to first say thank you. If you relate to that, just put an exclamation mark in the chat. I want to say thank you for sharing that, because that's big, because most people in life want to hype up how awesome they are. You know, you see people focus on the gram, likes, this, and third. You were real about areas you wanted to grow. But let me ask you this, because even when I heard you speak, I felt like when you were speaking, you were being a little hard on yourself. Am I right?
Sometimes I am.
Sometimes you are. Okay, I appreciate the honesty. Let me ask you this. You mentioned that, you know, there are different areas where you feel like you dropped the ball with other people. Have
With
you
my
ever felt
family
like it would be
and
good
friends.
if they forgave you? Have you ever like wanted forgiveness from those people?
Yeah. You know, even now, there are people like my grandmother who had died 3 years ago on Christmas, and I didn't make the holidays every time, and I had dropped the ball. I wasn't talking to her, and I think it hit me so hard down the line that I was just like, I just wish, you know, I wish I was better about it. I wish I was more impactful, and I wish, you know, to this day that I was just a better person about, you know, leaving that impression for, you know, dealing with people. And a lot of things happen.
Yeah. So this is what I'll say. One, I love that you said that you would have liked if those people forgave you, because in Chancellor, I want you to get what I'm saying to you right now. Forgiveness begins with yourself. A lot of times we want other people to forgive us when we haven't taken the decision to forgive ourselves. You get that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Forgiveness can't exclude forgiving yourself. And what you said about being a teacher, because I used to teach, I taught 7th grade math, and I used to always be like, oh, I'm a fraud, I'm fraudulent, I don't live up to. People want real models, not role models. I would rather learn from somebody who said, you know, I made these mistakes and I learned from them, than someone that's like, oh, I'm awesome all the time. You know, because you start saying like, what are you hiding? You know what I mean? People want real models, not role models. So if you reframe, because remember we started with the perspective, what are you seeing? The binoculars, the car. If you reframe where you're at, the fact that you haven't been perfect, you've made mistakes, and the fact that you want to learn and grow, there's a kid right now in your neighborhood who feels the same exact way. And your ability to push through this feeling and forgive yourself and grow is going to unlock that kid in a way that someone who hasn't had that same past can't. Because that kid can go to a teacher who seems to have his life perfect altogether. He's not going to reason, I can't relate to you. You don't relate to me. Because he's looking for a real model, not a role model. And that's literally like a group of people that can impact. So there's a kid in your neighborhood. Think about a younger you. There's a kid in the neighborhood waiting for Chancellor to forgive himself and take that. And I want to ask you, what would be possible if you let go of some of that weight? How would you feel? What would be possible if you felt self-forgiveness? What would be possible for you?
I think overall, I would feel like I could finally step in the forefront and take the lead. I feel like I can't do that even with my job and the other places where everyone depends on me. And I don't feel up to it because I feel like I would only destroy or let down. If I could do that, maybe I could truly.
Yeah, let me pause right now. I'm gonna go to the chat right now. Do you guys feel like Chancellor is making an impact right now? Just put yes if you agree. Do you feel like Chancellor, I'm seeing yes, exclamation mark. Do you feel like Chancellor is leading right now by sharing and being vulnerable and being honest and authentic? You just proved the entire point of my presentation better than I could, man. You were here the whole time. You're waiting for this person in the future that doesn't make mistakes, that follows up, that's home for Christmas, that does that. Yo, you showed up here today, man. You showed up here today and you made an impact on the people around you, right? That doesn't have to wait till tomorrow. You're doing it right now, Chancellor. Like, you're already here. So when you begin that process of self-forgiveness, and it's a journey, but I promise you, what you're looking for is already inside of you. because you
Thank
wanted
you.
to move the lid. No, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Round of applause for Chancellor. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And make sure you stay in touch with me, man. I want to know how your story goes. I want to take a minute real quick to thank Jason. If everybody knows how to do the clap emoji, can we please do a clap emoji for Jason? You know, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be where I am without Jason. He was one of the first people that invested in me to speak, one of the first people to bring me out. I was probably over 10 years ago. We've been through life changes together, so it's definitely amazing. I want to just really quickly say, if you guys could do me the solid of staying in touch with me, I'm putting my link tree. This has like my website, my YouTube. Stream the music. I finally put it out there to be criticized and judged, and so definitely reach out to me. Instagram, whatever, all my links are through that website. So I appreciate you guys. If anyone has any question, feel free to reach out to me. Jason's going to share my contact information. You can contact me through that link tree as well. I just can't say thank you enough, Jason. This was an incredible opportunity. I hope this is a wonderful way to start the new year. And you guys just realize that the person you're looking for is already here. You just have to remove it. So thank you again. I appreciate you.
So let's give it up for Bert. Thank you very much. Virtual plus, however you do it. Yeah, Bert, I love you. You know that. I always value you and what you bring to the forefront. It's very different than a lot of other folks. And your vulnerability and your willingness to express it. Right, when I wrote to Destiny today and I sent her the picture, she's like, all right, I'm gonna hop on, right? Because people respect you, admire the risks you're taking in your life, to take opportunities for yourself to grow and all the great stuff. So thank you, for reaching out to me in fall and saying you want to be a part of this again, and for being here with us and for like opening up a lot of things for folks here. I know I wasn't on camera. I was listening very attentively. As you could see when I was on camera, I'm just like, I have a bunch of tissues here. I'm just fighting through this cold. I don't feel like I want to show people for the rest of my life on video blowing my nose since we're recording all these things. It's bad enough that I'm saying it over and over. And I want to give a shout out to Andre today. Thank him for leading our sessions. Thank you, Andre, for stepping in and stepping up. Thanks to Stell for doing the introduction for Bert. And thank you, Isabel, for doing the introduction this morning. It's the reason why we do this. Bert can testify to this when we were doing it in person. Is we want to start the year off right. We want everybody to sort of realize that, the growth, the light, the positive energy is already there. It's just a matter of bringing it out, bringing it to the forefront. So whether you're a Hostos student, a BMC student, City College student, John Jay student, we've heard lots of different people here today, an alumni of Hostos, whatever it is, it's there. You may already know it's there, or you may have a sense it's there, or you may be in a position where you don't really know. But I think Bert's workshop today kind of opened that up for a lot of people. It even made me feel something in terms of myself and my own growth potential. Right, that maybe I put myself into a position of saying, like, we can't do more because maybe I'm putting the lid on top of it. So maybe I need to pop that lid off, and so I'm going to do that. So thank you, Bert, for that. So, but yeah, and then the rest of we have 2 more days of these workshops, and I hope you're really getting the most out of them. Tomorrow we have some extraordinary people, and Thursday extraordinary people. Including 2 of our alumni over the next 2 days who have been at these workshops, were chairs of these workshops, and have taken the skill set that they learned at these workshops to go on to do extraordinary things, which is why they're going to speak to you in the next 2 days. So again, I want to thank you all for being here, for taking time out of your January to start off the year with us, to be aspirational, to accept inspiration, and to fully blossom into the people that you already are and are meant to be. That being said, I have to save my voice for tomorrow, so I wish you a good day. I look forward to seeing you over the next 2 days. Take care, Bert. Take care. I will see you soon. Love you all, and have a great day.
Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bert.
Bye.
Yes.
Jason,
See
thank
you
you
all
guys.
tomorrow.
Let's
See you
connect.
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Take care, guys.